You see two of the biggest icons on the planet, Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. But they aren't shaking hands or promoting a new blockbuster. They're in the middle of a street shouting, and then they start fighting. A physical, heated brawl. You can hear the anger in their voices. You see the sweat on Brad's forehead. You even notice that specific way Tom Cruise's jaw tightens when he's truly furious. Within minutes, the video has 50 million views. The internet is losing its mind. What happened between them? Is this the end of their friendship? But then, a few hours later, a statement drops that chills the entire industry to the bone. Neither Brad nor Tom was even in the country when that video was filmed. What you just watched wasn't a fight. It was a heist, a digital heist, where the prize wasn't money or jewelry, but the very identity of two global superstars. This is the reality of 2026. The Brad versus Tom video didn't just go viral, it broke the concept of truth in Hollywood. It forced the Motion Picture Association to step in and declare a state of emergency. But here is the real question that should keep you up at night. If they can steal the faces of the most protected men in the world, what does that mean for the rest of us? Are we watching the death of the human actor? Or are we entering a new era where reality is just a setting you can toggle on a computer screen? Today, we're diving deep into the AI trap. We'll look at how the technology reached this terrifying level of perfection, why the biggest studios are secretly celebrating while actors are protesting in the streets, and why your favorite movie star might soon be nothing more than a ghost in the machine.
To understand why the Brad and Tom video changed everything, we first have to talk about a concept called the uncanny valley. For years, AI-generated faces looked off. You've seen it. The eyes were too glassy, the skin looked like plastic, and the movements were robotic. Your brain knew instinctively that it was fake. It felt creepy, but that safety net is officially gone. The latest generative models don't just paste a face onto a body anymore. They simulate physics. These programs now understand how human skin reacts to light. They know how the tiny muscles under your cheek move when you say a word ending in S versus a word ending in M. In the Brad Pitt video, the AI even simulated the specific way light reflects off his iris. It's so perfect that even professional forensic experts had to run the footage through specialized software just to prove it wasn't real. This isn't just cool tech anymore, it's a weapon, and Hollywood is the first battlefield. Think about it. For over 100 years, the movie star was the ultimate product. You paid for a ticket because you wanted to see the charisma of a real human being. But what happens when that charisma can be coded by a kid in a basement?
Now, you might be wondering, why is this such a huge deal? It's just one fake video of celebrities, right? Well, the reason is simple. In Hollywood, time is money, and humans are very, very expensive. Think about a typical blockbuster movie. To hire a star like Tom Cruise, you have to fly him to London, pay for his massive security team, provide luxury trailers, and insure him for millions. If he gets a cold or pulls a muscle, production stops, costing the studio hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. But a digital Tom Cruise, he doesn't get tired. He doesn't ask for a $20 million salary or a cut of the box office profits. He doesn't need a stunt double because he's literally made of pixels. He can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he never complains about the script. Behind closed doors, studio executives aren't looking at that Brad versus Tom video as a scandal. They are seeing a gold mine. They're imagining a future where they own the digital twin of every actor. If a studio owns the rights to your face, they don't need you anymore. They just need your likeness. This is why the actors' unions are currently in a state of war. They're fighting for what they call digital soul rights. It sounds like a sci-fi movie title, but it's a real legal battle happening right now. They want laws that make it illegal to use an actor's face or voice without their explicit moment-to-moment consent. But here's the scary part. Technology moves much faster than the law. While lawyers are arguing in court, the line between tribute and theft has completely disappeared.
This brings us to a very uncomfortable truth. For the last decade, we, the audience, have been cheering this on. When we saw movies like The Irishman or the latest Indiana Jones, and we saw the actors looking 40 years younger, we thought it was amazing. We called it de-aging, but we didn't realize we were training the monster that would eventually try to replace us. By feeding thousands of hours of old footage into these systems, we taught the AI
AI exactly how these stars look, move, and breathe at every age. Now, the trap is set. If we get used to seeing perfect digital humans, will we eventually stop caring if the person on screen is real? If you can't tell the difference, does the difference even matter? Critics argue that a computer can mimic a tear rolling down a cheek, but it can't feel the heartbreak that causes that tear. But let's be honest, when you're watching a massive superhero movie with explosions and aliens, are you there for the soul or are you there for the spectacle? If the spectacle is 100% perfect, Hollywood might decide that the human part of the movie is just an expensive luxury they can no longer afford.
But let's take a step back from the red carpets. Why should you care? You aren't a movie star. Nobody's trying to put your face in the next Mission Impossible. The reason the Brad versus Tom incident is a warning for everyone is that Hollywood is just the testing ground. If the technology becomes cheap and easy enough to replace a celebrity, it becomes easy enough to replace anyone. We're entering an era of identity fragility. Imagine getting a FaceTime call from your boss asking for urgent access to a file, or a video message from a family member asking for money because they're in trouble. The voice is right, the face is right, even the background of their house looks correct, but it's not them. It's the same technology used in the Brad Pitt fight, just scaled down for everyday deception. When we lose the ability to trust our own eyes and ears, the fabric of society starts to unravel. In Hollywood, they're fighting to protect the image, but in the real world, we're fighting to protect the truth. So, where does this leave the future of movies? Some experts predict that in less than 5 years, we will see the first AI-only blockbuster, a movie with a cast of actors who never existed in the real world. They will be perfect actors. They won't have scandals, they won't age, and they will be owned entirely by the studio. But there is a glimmer of hope. History shows that whenever things become too digital or too perfect, humans eventually crave the raw and the authentic. Just like how vinyl records made a comeback in the age of streaming, we might see a new movement in cinema, human-certified movies. Imagine a seal at the beginning of a film that says 100% human cast, no generative AI used. Those little imperfections, the slight crack in a voice, an unplanned blink, the genuine sweat of a real person might become the most expensive and valuable things in the world.
The Brad versus Tom fight wasn't just a viral moment, it was a mirror. It's showing us a future where we have to choose between a perfect lie and a messy truth. Hollywood is at a crossroads, and so are we. We have the power to decide what we value. Do we want movies that are manufactured in a server farm, or do we want stories told by people who have actually lived them? Before you go, I want to hear from you. If you found out your favorite actor was replaced by a digital twin in their next movie, would you still buy a ticket? Is the human element the only reason you watch, or do you just want to be entertained? Let's start a conversation in the comments, because the future of reality might just depend on it. Thanks for watching to the end. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.